Sticks and stuff to break your bones, but words never hurt.
Only sprain.
What Sean even allowed to say, Phil? I'm trying to turn a lick into a real estate. No, that was Sean is like, pop me a 30, I feel like it's dying. What? Yo, Phil, you know, speaking that shit.
What's good, everybody?
Oh, sorry.
Some packed in there.
Over there, man.
Yes.
They's getting me new.
Bless you. Stop. Don't hit me like that. He's scared of the doctor. The plug is scared of the doctor. No, no. Are you scared of the doctor? Yeah.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Everybody can hear me okay? We good, right? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know we got better. No more technical difficulties this time. Let's hope not, anyways. Let's hope not. Let's hope for the best. I appreciate y'all tuning in. On the charting and the due diligence, I get asked all the time about always finding the plays, the due diligence and everything else. So I hope what my main goal of this whole entire thing is, honestly, I know that a lot of you start all of your due diligence on Sunday. You know what? We're going to get some in real time on Friday night. So I want to work with a couple of things. I want to go over some basics first. A lot of the things, maybe some of you already know it. And if you do, awesome. If you don't, you know, stick around. But I think as we work in real time, and I've done this on my one-on-ones with several of the people that I've booked sessions with, which I promise you I'll be setting up some more of those dates and times later as my schedule permits. But as I've done the work in the real time with everybody, we've actually found plays just looking at it in real time. So I want to be able to do the same thing with you guys and to walk you through exactly what I'm thinking, exactly what I'm looking at, how I'm looking at it, how I'm charting it, where I'm going, how I'm doing it, what rabbit holes I'm going down, so that you guys can start doing it yourself and get better at it and just keep getting better. So let's get to work, man. Let me share my screen with y'all. And yeah. And let me know if you can't see anything. So I would do it this way. I'll try to make it to where it's easy. Oops. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it right. Shut this down. I'll shut this down, that down. If there's anything in there that you guys need help with, or you guys have questions about, send it in the chat. Let me know. I want to see here. This one. I want to still be able to just see this chat real quick. Okay, we good. All right, so look, just a little about me. I know I went over some of these things last time, so I'm gonna try to get through these things fairly quickly. First and foremost, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. On Twitter, it's Michael_Crowe. Instagram, it's all at Michael Crowe, all lowercase. But about me, I joined the Wealth Squad in January of this year. I'd been following Chris for a while. I'd been following Gerald Peters for a while. These were really, honestly, my only two mentors of people that I looked at as investors and what they were doing. And I loved consuming their content. It was engaging. So I joined for myself for the fact of just wanting to be stronger and more aggressive and more assertive with my investments and that sort of thing. So I really took it serious. Joined Wealth Squad. And while I was in there, a lot of you guys started listening to a lot of the things I was doing for myself, knowledge I was sharing through like my life experience. And I've had a lot of life experience, which I'm grateful for. And it's really carried over into the stock market in terms of like the principles that I've learned and what I've tried to do in terms of instilling those principles in my trading strategies. So with that, sharing knowledge, dropping some gems, all that good stuff, I ended up hitting some really great plays that a lot of you benefited from. And I put you guys onto some cheat codes, I said, as I refer to it, right? The cheat codes, I use a lot of the screeners. So I got onto that. And then, look, I disrupted a lot of things within the Wealth Squad. I hit some big plays. A lot of you guys started saying that I should be an admin. And, you know, obviously Chris got wind of that too. So Chris called me into the leadership in April after hitting some big plays. So here I am. But professionally, I'm an actor, do voiceovers. I produce for television, commercials. I've been in it for 14 years. The entertainment industry is wonderful. And in a way that carries over to the entertainment industry, to the stock market, is that, look, as a producer, as an actor, your job is to bring scripts to life. Your job is to dig. Your job is to be a detective. Your job is to unravel clues and things that bring characters to life, things that bring elements to life, things that make an atmosphere thrive creatively. So I have also brought those same principles over to my due diligence and all the rabbit holes I go down. So that career in general has really blessed me immensely in what I do. And I take pride in that. I'm good at what I do professionally, and I think I've done really well within the market too. Yeah, so I'll share all of this stuff. I'm gonna press the slideshow here in a second. I don't want to, okay, here we go. Sorry. How are we gonna do this here? Last time I couldn't see the chat, so I wanted to still be able to see it. So I had some trouble with that last time. So I'm also a military veteran. I've been in the Navy. I was in there for 5 years. I was a chef. I worked for 3 captains. I joined when I was 19. By the time I was 21, I'd been to 20 plus countries. And I was stationed in Hawaii the whole time. I know, life was rough. I was on the USS Russell. It's a ridiculously wonderful ship, and did really well. I did 2.5 deployments to Southeast Asia, trained with some Navy SEALs, did a bunch of really cool stuff. We blew some shit up, which was awesome. And then also while I was in, I played semi-pro basketball. I played for my command also. That's where I started. But then I also played for the All-Navy basketball team. I played for the All-Navy Hawaii team. And now I currently live in New York, and I play recreationally. I play in intramurals. I play in the summer leagues, and I play in the urban pro leagues when they come around. Obviously, COVID put a big damper on that. So I don't play anywhere right now except against my sons, and I crush them every time. I'm a father to two boys who you see there, Brandon and Nathan. Brandon's 15. He's the one in the plaid shirt there. Nathan is 13, and he's in the yellow. And both of them were styled by me. So how about that? And just some hobbies, backgrounds. I'm an endurance athlete. I play a lot of basketball. I play a lot of tennis. And as some of you know, like on my stories and my Instagram, I love playing the piano. I've played by ear since I was 8. Can't read music, but I love to play. And I'm currently training for 2 endurance races, one overnight 12-hour toughest mudder race later in July in the Poconos. And then I'm planning to go to Nevada in November to try to run 100 miles in 24 hours. We'll see how that goes. Wish me luck, y'all. Wish me luck. So platforms and indicators. So my primary brokerage in my IRA account is through Charles Schwab. That's who I use. I think their customer service is top notch. If any of you guys have eaten at Chick-fil-A before, man, y'all know that they're out there in tundras, blizzards, with a smile on your face. They'll give you your meal free for being kind. Charles Schwab is top notch. They got that Chick-fil-A A1 customer service. So the only downside to Charles Schwab that I don't really like their options platform. It's not as seamless as some of the others, but everything else I love. So they're my primary brokerage. The screeners that I use primarily, I go through finviz.com. That's really kind of my bread and butter. There's a bunch of other sites out there that you can use, but Finviz has really been my spot. I like everything to be in one spot, and so that's where I go. Charting, when I'm reading the stock charts, I use stockcharts.com a lot, and I use TradingView when I am entering trades, when I'm watching when I'm actually looking at levels I need to hit, all that stuff. Day trading, I'm in TradingView. And then Robinhood, I bounce back and forth to look at the charts to kind of check up on the earnings, and looking at some of those things. Trading, I use Schwab for like the stock swings. And I actually just started using Robinhood a little bit because it takes a little bit longer sometimes for my money to clear through Schwab. And then I just started using Robinhood just pretty recently, but primarily use Webull. And the difference between those two, what I like about Webull is that it's a better platform than Robinhood. But when you make your options trades, you don't get the instant profits to be able to go back into other trades as you do in Robinhood. Robinhood gives you that. Webull doesn't. Webull, you have to wait for the money to clear. Robinhood gives it to you instantly. And so, there's some times when I was in Webull and I was like, damn, I really want to go into this play, but I can't because the money's not cleared, and I maximize my buying power for the day. So then I just, I threw some money in Robinhood to be able to do that. And then, I obviously deposit it through Schwab and transfer and all that stuff too. So the primary indicators that I use via stock charts, I used to have a bunch of them, but I really realized that simplicity is so much better and it makes me more efficient in what I'm trying to do. So I use the SMA 20, the simple moving average, the exponential moving average 5-day, the simple moving average 20, and I use all that via stock charts. When I'm trading, I use a couple of other ones, and this will be, let me see. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Go back. Primary indicators, I use the Ishimoku cloud. This will be a later lesson. I use the Bollinger Bands. I use the orb strategy that Kia just added to his book. I added that to my repertoire. I also added the time frame continuity that he spoke about, added these to already things I was doing, and the open close range price targets and all of that through TradingView. I use the Ichimoku cloud a lot. And basically, in a nutshell of what that is, and we can talk about this at a later time, it is a culmination of data over the course of 26 periods, and it basically plots a future course and outlines where the stock price is going to land, and it gives you essentially perfect entrance and perfect exit points. It's more so a Forex trading strategy. I had a friend who was in Forex, and he's like, hey man, you really got to get on this. And I was like, I don't really know about it. Don't want to do it. Will it even work in stocks? Well, there's some videos out there, and I think that I pinned them in some of the rooms, if I remember right, of the Ishimoku cloud being tested, and it was 100 for 100 in terms of perfect entries and exit points. So I used that a lot. And then as I noticed, as I was trying to learn the orb strategy that Key talked about and understand the time frame continuity, and basically that time frame continuity. So people are like, oh, what stock chart are you looking at? The hourly, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, all that stuff, right? So the time frame continuity condenses all of that, puts it in one place for you. Remember how I talked about simplicity? So this is one thing that I added. I was like, oh, this is really dope. So it's really served me well. that I don't have to toggle between screens. I don't have to toggle between charts. Because time is everything in terms of like day trades and stuff like that. So the more you can streamline your process to make it simplified, that you're still able to maximize efficiency, you're going to be so much better for it. I don't know how to bring up this chat to where I can see you guys. Or I can see what you guys are talking about. Okay, here we go. Let me see. Okay, I'll answer questions. I'll answer questions soon. Okay, moving on to the next slide. How do I find stocks? This is a question that all of you guys ask, and a lot of the new people too. Look, they're everywhere. You have direct access to the entire world underneath your fingertips. Take advantage of the power that lies within the technology that you have. You literally have no excuses at all, zero. And I know, like, look, I clap back in the Wealth Squad a lot. And the reason is, like, one, I'm from the military. I've been broken down. I've been beat up. I ran an ultra marathon, 37 miles in 6 hours. I know what real pain is. And the stock market and losing $2,000, losing $6,000, $9,000, or $120,000, yes, it hurts, but you know what? It's money. You can get it all back. I promise you. I had a very wealthy friend once tell me, and he went on to be this quilting mogul, so much money. And he said, look, man, I'm in charge of 500 people and their payrolls and their families, and it's a lot of pressure. And all of these things happen. And he said, look, if you think you have a money problem, it's not a problem. And I had to think about that for a second. And it's so true. It's never a money problem. What it is it's a behavior problem, right? You change your behavior, you change your whole scenario. You change your whole entire situation, your whole entire circumstance, your whole entire trading strategy. Once you understand your behavior and the things that you are doing that are inhibiting you from being successful. So that really struck a chord with me, and it's stuck with me in the entertainment industry. It's stuck with me definitely in the stock market, and definitely in the business endeavors that I'm involved in. Where else can you find stocks? Around your house, man. Your bank statements. Look around. How many stocks are publicly traded right now, just from the products, the appliances, the clothes, the electronics, everything that you use every day? Probably a lot, right? So people say, oh, I have so much money. I've got 20,000, 10, 15,000. What would you do if you had it? Where would you invest it? Invest and trade in the companies you're already using. Why wouldn't you? Right? Why wouldn't you? If you have a phone with AT&T, go invest in AT&T. If you wear a bunch of Nike, why aren't you investing in Nike? If you shop at Whole Foods, why aren't you investing in Whole Foods? In some way, it's a kickback to your lifestyle, and you're not really altering anything at all. You're just, you know, I think it's for me, it's almost like thank you for your business is the way that I look at it. So, you know, for me, for instance, obviously you have some that you hold for a long time, like Disney and Coca-Cola and all these, right? So my kids love video games. So I went on GameStop at one point. We love the movies. I'm in the entertainment business. It's personal to me. So I have AMC. And that's also where I started with really getting aggressive with things, is because before I ever joined the Wealth Squad, I had bought AMC. I've been at an AMC since 2004, and GameStop, myself and my sons have been in around like 280 something, 246 or 286 or something like that. And that ran up, and one day I woke up and all of the short squeeze happened. And I cashed in on GameStop and then reinvested those profits into other things, and then basically joined Wealth Squad not too long after that. And then got really aggressive and really realized, look, there's so much money every day in the stock market to be made. Where else can you look? Social media. And social media being one of those is our own Discord, right? That search bar that we have up there, just go to a room, go up to the search bar and type in whatever stock you're looking at. whatever, if you think you missed something from Chris, or you missed a note from Ray, or from Curly, or myself, type our names in the search bar. Go look for it. Go take the notes. You can find a lot of valuable information in there. We have 33 plus intelligent people in this community, and it's powerful if you tap into that. I go through that search bar religiously, and there's times when I'm quiet. Well, you want to know why? Because I'm trolling comments, I'm looking, I'm reading, I'm absorbing, and I spend a lot of time in our Discord. Another one through social media is StockTwits, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can't really find as much through Facebook. It's really limited, but Instagram, you can, obviously, and Twitter and StockTwits are huge. How else can you find the stocks? The ARK ETF intraday trade notifications. I put out a long post about this the other day, so I'm gonna go through this pretty quickly. That's at arkfunds.com. Right, so come in here to ARK Funds. Right here with the investor resources trade notifications, you come up over here, right? You get these ETF notifications. And here's all their funds. Click on these funds. Go look at every single holding inside these ETFs, chart them. Go find out what are in those. So you can sign up for those at that site. It takes 3 minutes to do it. And whether you're a believer or not behind the ARK Fund, it's a powerful resource to find continual plays and stay on top of the sector rotations that I also talked about. And a lot of people forget about this one, the stock company profiles. So you can usually go to a stock, go to their investor relations tab, and you can find out every single ETF fund that holds the particular stock. And a place I go to is ETF.com, right? And for this case, how I mentioned, my brother just got a job at Disney. I hold Disney, so just to make this quicker and more seamless, I already previously loaded Disney into the ETF.com. And basically, look, it tells you with the most exposure, the top performing ETFs with Disney. And the key here is click on these ETFs, go to theirs, and go look and see what else is in there. Go chart all of those in the same way that you do with the ARK funds, in the same way that you do with the Invesco that Chris had talked about in the stock market gems and the whiteboard magic. It's exactly what I do. I spend a lot of time here on ETF.com. And look, this is all of the ETFs that hold Disney. And the Vanguard Communication Services ETF is the largest shareholder with 266 million, right? So this is a really powerful resource for you guys. You can't see the browser. I'm not sure why, actually. Can you, you can't see the browser, but can you see the PowerPoint? Y'all can still see the PowerPoint? Okay, well, that's fine, right? So, that's right. Let me see. I don't know. Is anybody else having trouble seeing the browser when it come up, or is it just, okay, the PowerPoint? Let me see here. All right, I'll click. Okay, so I think I know what I need to do. Yeah, I'm only sharing the PowerPoint section of it. So let me share the desktop too with you guys real quick. New share. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if I can do both. Okay, cool. So I can do both of these at the same time. Awesome. Now, can y'all see? Are y'all good? Can you see this now? Sweet. All right, so this is ETF.com, right? I come here a lot and I look up whatever stock it is. In this case, like I was saying, it was Disney because I have a personal relationship with that. Now that my brother's got the job there, and Disney is just one that I love. So come explore this site with whatever you have in your portfolios too. Click on them. So obviously Vanguard is one of the top shareholders, right? So you can see here, you can display it. Vox holds the largest amount. So then you come through Vox's list, and you can see all of their data and all of their holdings in the same way, right? You just gotta keep going through all the information here, right? The top 10 holdings now. So now you got on Vox, and now you got Facebook, you got Alphabet, you got Walt Disney, AT&T, you got Comcast, Verizon, a lot of tech, right? So all of these things are going to help you find more plays. This way. So go and chart those. Another spot that I go to is barchart.com. It's also just kind of another place where everything is all in one spot. You got the stocks, you got ETFs, you've got the options, you got futures, all of those things, right? So I spend time on here on these tabs, going through them. And same thing, you get the market pulses with these, you get the most active. You can, a lot of you guys talked about the market sectors. So here you go, stock market sectors. Click on this, and you can see what the sectors are. Just for today, you can just come and explore this site. I mean, it's literally just a rabbit hole of information. And you can fine tune it all based on different ideas, different markets. Yeah, it's a really good tool. It's a really good tool. So another one, obviously, and the big one, and this is where we're about to have some fun. So going into the screeners, I use FinViz. And I want to just talk about a couple of these things first, before diving into it. Let me see here, sorry. Current slide. What? Hey. Bear with me 1 second. 1 second. Here we go. All right, so the FinViz screeners, and then a lot of you guys asked me about options. Options I find through FinViz also, and you can look at this tab. I believe it's the descriptive tab, or you can pull up all tab, and it's the option short, and then from there you click optionable. And a lot of the plays that I find, I try to make them universal to everybody, and I do that from, you know, if it's a penny stock, or if it's one that's a lower volume, I always try to look and see if it's optionable to give people the opportunity to be universal with the play. And you can do the same thing in the barchart.com. Forgive for this format. I don't know why this copied over so high, because it's right in the PowerPoint, but when it merged, it was different. So how else can I do my due diligence? One of the sites that I use is microcapsearch.com. And sec.gov. These are two really great sites to use. So basically what this is, the microcap search is a condensed version of everything, right? You type in whatever stock signal it is. Let's see, right? So, and since we did Ford today, let's just do Ford, right? And it immediately brings up everything. It brings up the chart. It brings up their profile, the news. It takes it right to FinViz. and all of the holders, the history. It takes it to Twitter. So I actually really like this research tab, microcapsearch.com. It's really great. Going back. And the other one is the sec.gov. So the sec.gov, this is where you can find all of their financial information. You can find all of their PR that's coming up. You can find all these things, right? So you click here, and you can go to the company filing search, right? Or you can go to the, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Not this one. Filings, Edgar, search and access. And here you go. You can go search by the company name or the fund name, the ticker symbol. You can find all these, right? So let's just say, let's just look. Here's Disney, right? So that brings up Disney, and you want to look at all of this, the 8K current reports, right? You got the earnings release. You've got all of these reports here. And you can go to view all 8Ks. Same thing with the 10Ks, right? You can view their quarterly reports. Same thing, view all 10Ks and 10Qs. This is a really great resource to use and to refer to. I use it all the time. But like I said, that microcaps, the microcap search compiles that for you. So you can use either one. If I want to dig a little bit deeper, I go to the SEC, but I try, like I said, I like things simple and clean. So microcap search is where I go. Same thing, FinViz, and you can use some other ones too. There's Wall Street Zen. I use Wall Street Zen a lot because they have also, like I said, everything sort of in one place. Same thing, search for whatever company. We'll go back to Disney. And again, it's everything here. It just gives you a really great wealth of knowledge in terms of overall score, financials here. It shows you evaluations. And look, you obviously have to gauge certain other factors with that too, right? For the reasons for the score. And some of it is complicated information, but you can use this site to find so much helpful information to help you make good decisions. So Wall Street Zen is a big one that I use. Coming back, you also have CNNBC, you've got Seeking Alpha, Morningstar, Motley Fool, you've got Zacks Investment Research, and you can find a lot too through Robinhood and Webull if you scroll down, and if you look in like the analysis tab or the news tab, you can find articles, recent news, and also the same thing with FinViz, right? I'll show you this here. I'm just gonna click on just a random ticker, right? So you have all this data through FinViz that it shows you. And then here is all of the news. Again, this is why I also use FinViz, is because everything is all in one spot. And it's all recent news. You can click on this. This right here is StockTwits, which means you don't have to individually go to it. You don't have to go back and forth. You can kind of see what's happening there. And you have their financials. And then usually below this, you'll have like their insider trading, what their executives are buying or selling, so on and so forth. And for earnings, same thing. I go to FinViz for that too. I use the screeners for that. You know, you can type all that in the screeners basically, right? So your earnings date, you can toggle all of this in your screeners. A lot of the ones that I use, I kind of toggle a little bit between this week, next 5 days, or previous 5 days. And then occasionally I'll do, you know, the today before the market opens or today after it closes, and so on and so forth. So I would encourage you to utilize those because it just gives a really good rundown of everything. And there's a lot typically, and it can be overwhelming, but you just have to go through the other data and sift through the ones that make sense for you. And also a big one I think that a lot of people know about is earningswhispers.com. Somewhere if it pulls up. Let's hope. Let's do this. Here we go. So this is another one that gives you a rundown of all of these, right? You come up here to calendar and you can look. So there's Friday. Let's look at Monday. The earnings calendar for Monday. So you have Target and you have Biocom. You might as well write these down because there's probably some sort of a, a run up of some sort pre-market, that's going to have some sort of an influence. Same thing here. All of these are all for Monday. I mean, look at this is so many plays already, right? For you to go and research. So this is a really great tool to use. But like I said, how I like everything all in one spot is that having FinViz, right? So you can do next 5 days and you have 37 opportunities right here, right? So all of the ones that are going to be on that list are right here. So it's just pick and choose whatever one is preferable to you. I use FinViz a lot. And for price targets, I use TipRanks. I also use FinViz. Sometimes it's in there. You just have to dig a little bit. Sometimes it's in the articles or in the data, or it's also in the data of the inside trading. Let's see if I can find one here. Back this way. Trader earnings. Just say, I know here. Here we go. OMF, right? I'm just using this as an example that you guys can see. There we go. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So One Main Holdings, I remember I mentioned this to you guys not too long ago about a dividend, right? So you can usually scroll it, and sometimes this is either below the news or below the financials, but it tells you what some of the price targets are, if it's outperforming, if it's neutral, that sort of thing. So this is a really helpful tool that I look at a lot too. So how else can you do the due diligence? Look, Twitter. Don't sleep on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, even if you don't use it for you to tweet ideas and your thoughts and all that stuff and you're not active, who cares? Make a profile because it's really helpful for your research. Twitter, I don't care if anybody else believes this or not, but Twitter is the #1 news source in the world. If you don't believe me, you will find gems of knowledge via Twitter long before the mainstream media ever covers it. I promise you. And you can search any stock with the $sign in front of the ticker. And what do you think mainstream media uses as a resource for their stories? Twitter. Twitter moves so fast. Like how fast the options chat moves, it's nothing compared to Twitter, in my opinion. Get a profile, go see for yourself. There's so much knowledge on there, and you can go down the rabbit hole for hours. I spend a lot of time in the research going through that and sifting. And obviously, look, there's a lot of garbage through there too. So you have to be able to discern what it is and what it's not. And then StockTwits is basically the same. It's basically the same as Twitter. Whatever symbol you want, type it in. And like I said, it's already on FinViz already, so you can kind of scroll there, but it's the same thing. It's just all purely stocks. But again, there's also rubbish here too. There's spam here. So you just have to discern all of that stuff and get rid of what works and what doesn't. And like I said, the simplified functionality FinViz I apologize for the messed up format there. It's the simplified functionality. Like my life, I like things to be functional and I like simplicity. When it comes to time, the fastest way from point A to point B is a direct path, and simplicity is key, and FinViz to me has all of it. And what I'm really looking for is the maximum amount of efficiency with the minimal amount of effort. And I don't mean that in the sense of like, oh, you're not working hard enough. That's not what I mean. It just, when I'm a sports guy and just thinking about analogies, I've seen Kobe Bryant play in person, I've seen LeBron, and watching those guys play, it's like poetry in motion. It looks so effortless. It's because they've done it so many times. It's repetitions. It's a simple thing. It's a simple process for them, but they've put in hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of practice doing very simple things that complete the overall picture, which is their performance. Okay, so charting, a couple things to consider, and I'm going to breeze through this too. Same thing is the relative strength index, the RSI. We talk about it all the time. It's something to be aware of. 70 or above, things are overbought or overvalued, which ultimately equals a pullback or a trend reversal of some sort. 30 or below, it's oversold or undervalued. Anything above 30, right, is going to be a bullish trend. Anything below 30 is going to be a bearish trend, and vice versa, right? 70 or above, it's going to pull back. And there's sometimes when you have cushion above 70. Like if you look at a stock chart and it's gone up to like 90 5 times within the last 6 months, well, then you know it's probably not going to pull back at 70. It's probably going to run up a little bit higher. Another thing is the MACD. We talk about it all the time. That's the moving average convergence divergence, and the signal line, which is basically the lagging MACD line. And when the MACD and the signal line crosses, those are usually signs of reversals to the up or the downside, whichever way it's going. Let's see. Do I pay to use FinViz or just the free version? I actually have the elite version of that. And I think it's worth every penny. I want to say it's 79 bucks, but I might be wrong. Maybe it's 59. I have to double check, but I think it's better to use because you can modify your charts better, which I've found to be really useful for me. And obviously you want to keep in mind your resistance, and that being a price point above the current share price that it needs to reach or get to, or that it's previously been, right, above the share price. And your support is the price point below the current share price that it's already been. That's obviously offering some support. Okay, and I say this all the time. Look at the entire chart. Think big picture, right? Not just a small fractal portion of where the stock price is, right? Look at the entire picture. And if you guys all remember, like what we learned, the process of elimination, the who, what, when, where, why, how questions, right? These are also sort of essential in that way. Where is the current share price right now, right? Where was it before? How long ago was it that price? And how long did it take to move to get from where it was to where it currently is now? These are essential questions to ask yourself, because you will be able to understand the stock chart a heck of a lot better if you start asking yourself these questions. And also, where is the share price going? Is it in a downtrend bearish? Is it in a uptrend bullish? Is it at $25 and it's going towards its price target at 30? Where is it at? Where is it going? What overall direction is the entire stock chart pointing? Read that again. What overall direction is the entire stock chart pointing? It's something that I've stressed over and over and over again. If you look at the entire chart and not just a smaller fractal section, you will keep your sanity, and you'll be a heck of a lot less nervous and anxious about the investment decisions you're making. if you just zoom out for a second and look at where it's going. Everyone's like, oh, Michael, why do you always choose charts that are going in one direction? You always choose them that's going up. Well, duh, because I want to make money. I'm not trying to lose it, right? So that's why. Okay, so this is the real work now. I have this actually pinned in the penny stock room, and I just want to talk really quick about penny stocks. There's a lot of people who don't use them. There's a lot of people who don't trade them. There's a lot of people who don't mess with them. Why? Because they're so volatile, and there's a heck of a lot of people trading them every single day. And literally at the 3 or 4 cent run-ups, that's why a lot of them never move, because you have so many people investing millions and millions of dollars into penny stocks and then buying it at 10 cents and then selling it at 13 cents, right? It's why a lot of them never move. But when they do move, they move and they run up really big. So they're really great investments. Before I became an admin, I spent a lot of time in the penny stock room with the penny stock fam. And it's amazing how much knowledge I learned just by being in there, and also fine tuning the screeners to help me find the run-ups. And this is the exact screener that I use through FinViz. If I don't know how your screens are, or if you want to sort of work side by side in that way. But I put my relative, so I mentioned earlier too, all of it means nothing if you don't know how to chart, if you don't know the data you're looking at and how to interpret it, right? So I just want to cover a few things. So for this particular screener itself, I put the relative volume over 2. Over 1.5 works also, but I've found that over 2, it eliminates some of the slower moving penny stocks, and over 2 catches them much closer to the run-ups than the 1.5 does. 1.5 is a little bit too early. Over the 2 I found is like the secret sauce. And what is the relative volume? Basically, your relative volume is how in play a stock is. It basically means that the higher relative volume, the more people that are watching and trading it. So over 2 is a good number to use for that. You can use over 3, but I think over 2 is where you want to catch it. I think if you do it over 3, you're going to miss it. Over 2, I feel like is right on the money. And obviously, a penny stock is anything $8 and below. So you just set this at under 10. Shares outstanding, I put this at under 10 million. All shares of the company which are held by the investors. Essentially, this is like supply versus demand. And your shares floated, I put it under 10 million. And this is only the shares that are available for the general public. And so what does this mean? Basically, what this means is that, well, if there's only 30 shares outstanding and there is less than that floated, then it's going to end up meaning that this is going to run pretty heavy because there's a huge gap to fill. But at the same time, you have to be careful with shorts, because if you're in it, you can also get shorted all the way down to the floor, which means it's, everyone's going to sell it all high and you're going to sell that tremendous gap. And then if you don't get out, you're just going to get stuck. Everyone says get stuck holding the bag. Well, this is holding the bag essentially. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to just hop over here to FinViz and come over here, right? And look at this. Same thing. Okay, so this is all those parameters that I just mentioned, right? You have 23 opportunities already. And usually what I do is I alter between these two. I put it on volume. I toggle this to put the volume at the highest, and you can see what ran up, right? And because it's Friday, you can kind of see what's moving. You can kind of see what's behind it. And then another one that I do is I just do the change, right? Volume gets to be a little off, but I look at the change here, right? You've got Mesa Royalty. And then what I do, and I just kind of glance at it here, then I come over here to the charts. And what I'm looking for what I'm looking for in catching these is just a small green tick, right? So obviously this one, you've missed it. It's too late. And a lot of times you're just going to get garbage. You're gonna get a lot of missed opportunities. There's nothing there, but I'm looking for the small green tick, which is here, right? And I'm also looking for the gap. Just for instance, this one, RMED, RMED. This actually might be one. So this small bullish uptick, right? And look at the gap. The gap is all the way up here at $9. Well, this is at $3. That's already $6 a share. And let's just say, if you're investing in penny stocks, and if you really want to see an impact on your portfolio with penny stocks, look, you invest 10 or 15, invest into 10 or 15,000 shares. And then if your penny stock moves 1 cent, man, you notice it, and it's so heavy of a move. So look, I mean, this is solid. That it's so on here, I've got the SMA 20, I've got the EMA 5, and I've got the 200, just as I mentioned. Obviously, when it crosses, right, when it crosses this 20, that's when it breaks out usually. And it's right below that. It looks like it touched it. So how I was saying, I use stock charts. I want to get rid of some of these tabs here. Let's go look at it in stock charts where it's easier. So that's RMED. Right? I mean, come on now. Y'all are already might as well just write this one down. So what I'm looking at is those gaps, right? And so charting this, boom, where was it before? Remember those questions, right? It was right over here at $9, right? Where is it? It's right down here at 3. Let me try to see here, right? Okay, so where's the support? Where's the floor, right? You got it down here. You can take it all the way down here to these ticks if you want, right? You take it here. Basically been to 9. Where else has it been? So it's up at, you see that it was up at 6, right? And then it fell all the way down here, right? You have some strong support right here. You've got some strong support right here. Actually, I want to undo that for a second, right? So not just looking at this small fractal section, obviously you do, but I also look at over here. Where does the support hold over here, right? So you can basically take this over here, 641 comes through, and you can just see what it passes through. It passes through all these points. All of these points, even if they're in the past, are areas of support or resistance. So this is what I'm looking at when I'm doing this. And then from here, obviously this is an opportunity. It's already tested the breakout, right? It already ran up today and it already fell back down close to its low. But this might be an opportunity to look into. So then from here, I'm probably going to go to tip ranks and just see what the price target is. See, we'll come over here. Let's go to tip ranks. RMED. Right, and generally for penny stocks, some of them don't have data, but other ones do. Okay, so 25 bucks. 25 bucks is the price target. I don't have the premium version, but that's when I use Webull and I cross-reference through Twitter. I cross-reference through StockTwits and some of the other spots that I mentioned. So that's the price target, at least from the nerd standpoint, right? I gotta find where my stock charts tab was. Here we go. But then you're like, oh, well, why is it 25? It's never been there. I don't see 25 on the stock chart. Well, you can see all these, right? Up here, I can't really see the chart without going over further. So I'm just, for this sake, right here, right? You know that it's at least probably going to get to here at some point. And here's the thing. When you're charting, you look at the data of how long it takes to move, right? From where it's been from where it is and to where it's supposed to go to get to 487. So you know that from right here at 336, you can count the ticks. And these ticks are the number of days that it takes to move from point A to point B. You can see that, well, like, why do I use the EMA 5 and the 20? Because right when those cross, it usually breaks out. So from here at 656, you see on this run up is ran up $3. Well, how long did it? So when you're like, well, how do you get your price targets when you're calling options? How do you get your price targets? How long am I going to have to hold this for? We'll count the ticks and you can understand that, right? So from 656, this basically took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. It took 8 days to go $2.50, right? And obviously as a penny stock, that's a pretty good run up. As a regular stock, maybe not so much, but if you have option contracts, yes, it is very much so. So it just all depends on what your strategy and your purpose is with that. Does all of that make sense so far? Let's see, hold on, coming back here. We're coming back. Let's see. I'm making my way. Okay, all good. So that's the penny stock portion of it. This is actually pinned. This is pinned. Those screeners for FinViz, those are pinned in the penny stock room. If you click on the penny stock chat tab and then you click on pins, you'll see all of these screeners are pinned there. And look, truthfully, you know, that's one. We literally just, I didn't do any research on that particular section prior to this. So this was all just from this session right now. So there was a chart, right? So let's just go and see if there's another one. So Armid's a good one. Write it down, all you penny stock lovers. This is another one, FEIM, right? It looks like it's about to do something. It doesn't have that uptick yet, so it's obviously below, but look, this is the 5-day moving average. This is the 20. Once it crosses the 20, what's gonna happen? Look what it did, broke out. Look what it did, broke out. And look at the gap from 9 all the way to 12. I mean, that's $3 a share. Why wouldn't you at least consider that? Why wouldn't you go and research that to just see what are the catalysts behind it? What could possibly make it run up, right? And you can see some of those things when you come down here. Look, just on 11th, they announced their third quarter financials. And look here, on StockTwits, pretty sure this can run up based on technicals. No one is watching it. Well, you know what, y'all? Look, write it down. Write it down. Frequency electronics. Go write it down. Tell me how it goes. So funny. How do you get stock chart to show all the price ticks? Yeah, so yeah, the Webull price target 25. So a lot of the times, sometimes like the price targets on Webull and the price targets for tip ranks is a little bit different. So you just got to kind of average it and gauge it. And look, don't question price targets. That there's a whole lot of nerds, man. They're so much smarter than all of us. They're way smarter than me. And trust their research. They've done a lot more than we have. So, you know, but also at the same time, I also want to emphasize your price targets. Like that's an overall price target of the stock, but your price targets are personal. Your price targets are based on your patience. Your price targets are based on your anxiety and how long you're willing to sit with something, right? So you can make your price target whatever you want it to be, right? If we're saying like this price target is 25, like, oh, well, I think it's gonna go to 97. Don't be an idiot, right? Just look, hey, if you wanna hold it till 97, awesome. But that wasn't even the right one I was looking at. Let me see, where the heck? Too many tabs. I want to close some of these tabs, but I don't want to mess up any of these screens. All right, so let's look at REIM on stock charts. Or sorry, RMED. Look, Okay, so again, I pay for like the premium of, I pay for the premium of stock charts. So same thing with Armid here, you know, same thing. Wait, do I have my thing on? You can get all of your price labels right here. You go into the chart attributes, price labels. And here's the thing, if you've seen Chris's whiteboard magic and all that stuff, right, you can do all of your charts and put them all in a list. Basically right here, your saved charts. So like this one, right, you can hit save as, and you can save it in whatever you want. And I just put it in these as examples, right? And then like I have all the airlines, right? So just, oh, wait a second. I don't want to save that there. So just in general, how to find plays intraday. I got you. Give me 1 second. I'll cover it in a minute. I didn't actually put this one. I didn't actually put this one on the presentation, but it's because I feel like the intraday trades, I mean, obviously it's pretty heavy for options, but I'll show it to you guys here in a second. Okay, so just for instance, like as I've saved all of my charts, right? How I mentioned time. So I have literally every airline. I searched all the airlines in the entire world, in all the ETFs, so I have them all in here. I think I've pretty much got them all. American Airlines. So boom, then you can go right to Associated Capital Group. Did you even know that was an airline? Probably not. Air France, got Air France. And yeah, obviously some of them are like their tickers are messed up. So I got to switch that. But same thing. So you can literally come through all the airlines at a moment's notice and just breeze through all the stock charts, right? And I got some of the levels mixed up because I haven't updated them all yet. Yeah, I'll show you the trading view analysis here in a second. And yes, this is going to be posted in the Wealth Squad. I will open up one-on-ones soon for y'all. I'm just I'm a busy man. I juggle a lot, so I'll try to open them up soon. Let's see, where were we at? I want to go back to FinViz. Y'all got me twisted. Okay, so back up to the screeners. That's how I do it for the penny stocks, okay? I want to come back over here to this stock chart. I want to move on to the next one. This is for the stock run-ups, okay? Not the penny stocks. I don't think I have it. I thought I had this one pinned, but these were, before I became an admin, I said I had cheat codes. Well, these were my 2 cheat codes. And there was quite, I actually posted it a long time ago, but I think it got pinned, then it got unpinned. There's quite a few people who already know this because I posted it and they've circulated it. This was my other cheat code of how I found my big plays with WiseKey, how I found my big plays. I don't even know. I'm not trying to brag by any means, but I've found a lot, and I'm grateful that I've taken the time to learn the fundamentals and really understand the data. So for this one, for the stock run-ups, you want to go to industry and you want to click stocks only. And then your average volume over 100,000, you can toggle it between 200,000 if you want. Performance today up, or if you want to play puts, you can put today down, whatever you want to do. And then, like I said, I want to make things universal for everybody. So that's when I go to the option short tab and I go to optionable. And I just toggle it. I toggle it and I see what's missing and what it takes out, how many stocks it removes, and that sort of thing. I want to talk about average volume for a second. Okay, so there's a lot of people who are traders who are like, oh, I don't touch a stock that doesn't have more than 5 million in volume, or, you know, whatever, average volume. I don't touch anything below 500,000. Well, why? Because they all start to gain momentum around 100 to 200,000. That's when they really start to take off. That's when the eyes start to get on it. And look, this is why I get good entry points, because this is where I catch it. So look, I'm not a prideful person, man. I live in New York City. I know in order to live in New York City, you have to swallow your pride, man. So it's one of those things that I'm like, look, I'm willing to maybe look, and you guys all know this, some of the plays that I've gotten into, it's been slower moving. You look at BWin, you look at Wint, you look at CRDF, all of these plays I have found through these methods. And look, they're longer holds, right? Because I caught them early. But look, if you sit on them and you've caught them early, your ROI for your patience is going to be great. I remember when I found Wise Key was one of my best plays, and that thing ran up so high. I think that ran up to like 270%. Like, that was crazy. My only regret with that was that it wasn't optionable. So just keep that in mind. Let me see. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for these comments. I appreciate it. I'm about to show y'all options here in a second. So I want to hop back over to FanVias, and I just want to show you guys this in real time, because I said I just want to work in real time, right? So we're going to come back over here. We're going to go right back to the stock run. And look, truthfully, you see this long list of screeners. Man, I got like 30, so I got a bunch. Y'all are about to get them all in my course. My course is going to be so fire. I got all these notifications. Okay, so like I said, all of those things I put in here, right? The ones I just gave you. So with all of those things in there, you have 59 opportunities, man. 59. Look at this already. ANBS, I think people, if I remember right, I think people got in on this. Same thing, like I said, I switch up the volume, 200,000 in volume. Here we go. That's the baby. That's forward. Want to know how I found it? Right here. This is exactly how I found it. And obviously the change is only 6%. 6% is a lot. So here's the thing. When I'm looking at percentages, obviously I'm looking at a couple of things. You want to have volume, right? If you have a percentage like, let me just find one here, 2 or 3%. I mean, there's not, because it's already been the day, like everything's kind of high. But let's just say this one, okay? Hypothetically, this 303% or 303,000 volume. And let's just say this was hypothetically 2%. I might start looking at this because it's at 300,000 already. Even these, like, even if it has this much volume and this little of a number, this run up 0.1% could be huge. It just all depends. So you got to kind of decipher some of this data. So how I do that, right? So 59 opportunities when you got it at over 100,000. Let's just see here, right? So over 100,000, you're basically, so over 200,000, you're basically going to eliminate everything. Well, no, actually that's wrong, because that's just a regular volume. Sorry, I apologize. The average volume is basically, you know, the average of what it's trading at. So over 200, you're down to 41. And truthfully too, like, you do want to get it streamlined. You want to get it streamlined only into a few of them, right? So this is how I do it. I generally just keep it between 1 and 200. I don't really go to 3, 4, and 5. I think stocks really catch a lot of momentum around 300, but I want to catch them early. So this is where I live, is the 1-200 range. And you can look, you cater these to you however you want. Cater it however you want. And I just play a lot of calls. But I play a lot of like run-ups. I haven't really taken advantage of, and I haven't really tapped into the downside, right? You can play the downside. There's a lot of people who play puts. Well, this would be the same way you do it. You just change the parameters, right? You switch to the change. Anytime that I see stocks that are at a 2% or a 3% change, That's when I start looking at volume. That's when I go start to do research. That's when I start to go look at due diligence. Because, and then obviously, like, I refresh this tab every probably 5 minutes to see which ones are really moving. So you can toggle this however you want. You can cater it however you want, but basic parameters, this right here basically meets the criteria for run-ups. This is how you do it. This is a legit cheat code, I promise you. Intraday. Look, you can use signal unusual volume. You can, but I remember I say this all the time too. People are like, oh, how did you find your plays? What do you do? Look, I go where not everybody else goes, and everybody goes to the unusual volume. Everybody's looking there, so I want to look elsewhere. Yes, I'm cognizant of it, but I also like to look elsewhere, where it's not at the unusual level. Because if it's on the front page of CNNBC, well, everybody's going there. So what does that mean? That means you're going to get high entry points. That means it's going to run up. You're going to miss it. But if you catch it early, you're at a better advantage. That's how I process that. But yes, I do look at the unusual volume too. Someone was saying, I remember I used the 3-month average on each sector as doing. Yeah, so I also use that too. I don't use flow algo or the cheddar flow. I don't look at those. I look at the market orders and I look at just the basic parameters. Yes, it's important to know those on the options, but I don't necessarily live there on those. There's just so much information and there's so many resources to use that it really just gets overwhelming. But like I said, just like I do with basketball, like it's fundamentals for me. It's just basic. Like you don't have to do behind the back passes. You don't have to do like through your leg 360 dunks. 2 points is 2 points, man. Like it is. So I try to keep it simple and I try to keep it fundamental. And obviously flow algo, cheddar flow, those are really useful tools. But also they're advanced if you don't know how to read them. They won't make sense to you. So I keep that pretty basic. Touching on what somebody had just said. So I use this groups tab a lot. How do you find plays? Well, I use that groups tab, which helps me understand sector rotation. And these are good. Look, I used to work in the car business and they used to, when like new management comes in, they blow the whole entire store out. And what do I mean by that? Like new owner comes in, he blows out all the management. He fires everybody. He brings in his own people because he feels like the store is failing because the management did a bad job and you didn't meet sales goals. No, that's not the reason why, right? Car business, there's like such high turnover. So you can't gauge anything. You can't gauge momentum. And it's the same way here, right? You can't gauge momentum after a month. You can't gauge momentum after like a week to really get a true understanding of progress. And think about it in a real world perspective when you're training or you're leveling up in your life, right? When you're like, oh, I want to lose weight. Oh, I want to gain muscle. I want to run 30 miles. I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, okay, well, apply that to these charts. Can you measure true data in a day? No, you can't. You can get an idea of like how you're doing a little bit, but it's not going to give you a really big understanding of what you're trying to do. You got to look long term, right? Can you do it in a week? Yes, right? In terms of accountability, but you need to look beyond that, right? If you're training somebody or you're coaching somebody, I've coached people in basketball. I've obviously coached people in acting. I've worked with people in the stock market. And look, you have to meet more than once a week because if you don't, there's no accountability. There's no check-in. There's nothing else to keep you moving forward in momentum. You basically created a monumental goal for yourself and then you fall off because you don't have the momentum to help carry you through, which is that accountability of a trainer kicking your ass on that second time or the third time, saying, okay, well, how did you eat this week? How did you eat between Monday and Wednesday? How did you eat between Monday, Wednesday, Friday? But if you're only meeting once a week, then you're more susceptible to falling back into your old habits. But anyhow, I come down here. The month is a good gauge too. You can just kind of see how it's moving. But I feel like the best data right here is the 3 month. And then I write this down, whatever this is, right? Everyone's like, oh man, Tesla, it's tanking. Oh man, it's all tanking. The market is bad. It's horrible. Dude, what are you talking about, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. Everyone's like, oh, the market sucks. I don't know what to do. I can't find any plays. Well, it's because you're not looking hard enough, man. Look, if tech is tanking, go look somewhere else. This is where I look, right? Right here at financial. They're winning. They're thriving. If you notice, go back into the notes of the Discord. Go look at all my plays. Where were they from? Financial, from energy, from basic materials, from industrials. Did you see any in tech? Nope, not really. One, because look, everybody trades all the big ones, you know, Fang, Facebook and Tesla and all those, right? Netflix, Google, everyone trades those. They're highly volatile, right? And that's fine. But if you want to consistently make money, you want to have consistent $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 days. I'm telling you, this is how you do it. So I'll take this 3 months performance, and let's just say, I just want to remember these real quick. So let's just say financial and industrials, right? So then I'm coming right back up here. I'm going to throw that screener back in, boom, the stock run. And then I'm going to go up here to the sector. And I'm going to hit that financial, boom. So now you streamline it. You streamline it. So you went from 57 opportunities. Now you streamlined it to 14. So now what do I do? Well, I streamline these, right? This doesn't look like much, right? Don't let this ever deceive you. Look at the volume. Boom, this had 17 million in volume. And look, people got in on this. I think I remember seeing this in the Discord. Yes, it's an ETF. And you can obviously get rid of these too. But come over here to the stock charts. And again, do the same thing. What's the gap? Where is it at? You know, this is the ETF. So I might actually just come up here. Industry, I might just put stocks only, right? So that's another one, sorry. I changed a couple of things. So let me just come back here to the overview. So because I took out the ETFs and I did stocks only, so it got rid of 7 ETFs. So now it's just stocks, right? And look, don't ever let these fool you right here, but come back to the charts, right? And look at these. Come on, man, look at this gap. From all the way from where it was up here at 11, you got that, but look at this one. Same thing. Obviously, like some, you know, it's obviously far away from some of these crosses and run-ups, but this is a way to find more plays. And here was another thing too, because I didn't have the price set here, right? If I want to get rid of the penny stocks, I do it over 10. Generally, I like to live around over 15. Okay, great. So now you streamlined it even more. Now you only got 4, right? It's only 4 opportunities, but most of them, you know, a lot of them at this point can be solid too. It just kind of all depends, right? This one isn't a whole lot, but we can look at it. 40, all the way up to 42. It's already crossed, right? It's already on a breakout. You know, ideally it would have been best to get it right here, but instead it's right here. So it's a little high. Anyhow, there's that one. I'll hop back in this question. You should put this into a course. Man, I'm telling y'all, dude, I'm working on my course right now. It's going to be fire. I'm excited. Well, I love the Wealth Squad community, man. I really do. Y'all are great, supportive. Y'all talk shit a lot, but you know what? It don't matter. It's all good. Okay, so here's one. I use one that's the volatile day trades. I didn't put this in. Wait, even before that, I don't want to get to this one yet. I got one more for you. This one right here, look, this one is secret sauce, man. This is secret sauce. I was hesitant about giving this to you guys before my course, but this is one I really use, and how I'm always, if you notice, you know, somebody's always like, oh, Michael, you only choose the stocks that are going up, and oh, he only makes in the money calls, and duh, because I'm trying to make money, dude. I'm not trying to lose it, man. What are you talking about? So in this thing, if you notice in trends in my, I don't know, like trading style, whatever. I don't even feel like I have a trading style. My trading style is win. That's what it is. You want to know what my strategy is? That's what it is. It's win. And this is how I do it. I talk a lot about the breakouts. I talk a lot about the EMA 5, SMA 20 crossover. Well, this is how I catch them so early. This is exactly how I do it. I alter a couple, like this is the basics, but I alter a couple of things too, just kind of based on how the day is going. And I scan this thing probably, I don't know, I do it at least 3 times for sure. Pre-market, middle of the day, end of the day, right? Going into the next day, I look at that, but then I do it probably like once or twice in between each of those times as well, as I'm looking for plays. Or I remember when Crystal came into the Wealth Squad pretty recently, and they're like, oh, and it was just quiet. And then they're like, how, thank God she came in and she gave us a play. How long did it take you to look for that? And she was like, I was hunting for hours. It was true. I remember having a really tough time when she did, when I was going through the screeners, and there was just literally nothing that was popping up that was worthy of a solid play. But anyhow, for this one, for the gap, I'm going to put it up 3% because, like I said, when it gaps 2%, yeah, but it really kind of catches that momentum at 3%. That's when it really starts to move a little bit more. There's some volume underneath it. So 3% is kind of where I live, but I toggle between 2 and 3%. And again, change from open. This is very different from change, okay? Change from open is obviously like, okay, where did it open? Okay, where is it now? Is it up or is it down? It's a big difference. So understand those two, right? So change from open, generally I put up. If you want to play puts or you want to find something on the very bottom of the floor to invest in, then mark it down. Relative volume, remember I already told you what that is. I put that at over 1. Again, you can put it at over 2, but for this sake of this early breakout, if you put it at over 2, I think it catches the breakout too late. But if you put it over at 1, I've found that it's really kind of that secret sauce mode. And then change, obviously up or down. Your 20 SMA, you want your price above the 20-day moving average. Why? Because that's when the breakout happens. You want it to cross above that, right? Your 50 SMA, you want the price above the 50. And you want your price above the 200. Why do you want it above it? Because anytime the price is above any of these, it's a bullish trend. It's a bullish momentum, and that's what you want. Or vice versa, right? It's basically reversed if you do it down. It'll end up putting it on the floor. So this is a big one that I use a lot. And let's go back over there. Coming back. So here we go. So back to this. And again, how I was saying, I want to keep things universal, right? So right now you have 11 opportunities of 11 breakouts that are about to happen on all of these charts. 11. That's 11 opportunities. That's awesome. But I want to come over here to the descriptive and toggle this too. I want to look and see if I can play options on these two. Okay, so that takes it down to 6, right? A lot of people that are just in the options chat won't play any of the other 11 because they're not optionable. So I generally like to do this. But if I find one, optionable and shortable is also really good too. And the shortable is just like I was saying, the shares floated versus the outstanding shares. That's what shortable means, right? That's what causes the run up. And you look here, you've got BRFS, packaged foods. Look at that run up, 26 million in volume. And look, I didn't catch this one today. There's just so many. There's so many stocks. There's so many to look at, and you just have to pick and choose. It's overwhelming for your brain. But let's go back to this just for a second. So optionable, come here to the charts. Same thing. And like I said, like sometimes you'll go through here and you won't find anything at all whatsoever. And again, you can come up here to industry and you can do only stocks. So it's still 6, right? Asana, I saw this one on the list that I had this morning, but I felt like it was too late. This could definitely be something. Palo Alto Networks. So it's at 362, but look at the gap. The gap's all the way up here to 400. And it's only up 5%, right? So people will look at that and not think it's very much, but this thing ran up $19. $19. It went from 3 right here at the breakout. See what happened? The EMA 5, the 20 crossed right up here to 362. So come back over here to the chat real quick. I don't use heat map. I do not. Okay, so let's just go look at this one, for instance, right? I want to go look at this one because it's already run up, or it's at least broken out, right? So if it's got that small tick, let's go look at this in stock charts. I go look at it in stock charts first before I go to TradingView because I like how I like the layout of stock charts in that way when you're just looking at when you're just trying to assess a stock. So Pan W is the ticker. So okay, so remember all of those questions that I asked you guys. Where's it going? Where's it been? All that, right? So ask yourself all those questions. I'm going to annotate this down. So where's it going? Well, and yes, these are going to be imperfect lines, so deal with it. So basically here, right? And then from there, it's going to come up here, boom, that, and this, that, it's like you can take it up here to its peak. But for me, I like to look at this. I like to look at where I think of these imaginary lines that I draw. I think about these as bridges, and I think about these as people. And these are people holding up the bridge for people to come across, right? Is it strong enough or is it going to break? That's like a metaphor that I see when I'm looking at stock charts. And I just want to say something too, that a lot of people panic when you're living in here. You see all this space, all this white space. Look, this chart is only going in one direction, isn't it? It's only going up. That's it. Like, yes, you can be day to day. You can, oh my God, the stock is tanking. What am I going to do? Right? Dude, I ain't doing nothing, man. You want to know what I'm doing? I'm about to buy some more right here. And I'm about to buy, Gerald Peters always talks about it, right? The pivot points. Let's take this off, right? Let's make some shapes. Y'all want to make some shapes? Make some shapes. Look, pivot points. You got a pivot point. The pivot points are the floors, right? So you can panic when all this stuff happens, or you can just go do research and be like, oh, what's the overall grade of the company? What's it doing? What's it innovating? Who are they partners with? Do they have any deals going? Do they have any upcoming PR? Do they have earnings? Don't just focus on billionaires or millionaires selling shares to scare people so they sell theirs, so that when it gets here, they buy everything and then they run it up all the way up here. Look at this, man. If you got to this point and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, now it's the big sell off. Where's this stock going to go? Oh, it's tanking. I don't know what to do. My life is terrible. I'm losing my whole portfolio. This is clearly a good company. Uh-oh, battery running low. 2 seconds. Let that sizzle in your spirits. All right. okay, so even in so in those scenarios, like if you have a good company, these are perfect opportunities to buy. And how I was saying why I use the EMA 5 and the 20, because it helps me understand the breakouts a lot better, right? And so when I'm looking at these breakouts, in terms of counting the ticks, where was it? Where is it going? Well, you look and see, like, okay, let's just take this one. Let's it looks like it was at like 240. So from 240, man, look at how far this thing ran. This thing ran all the way up to 375. And you're like, well, how long does it take? How do I set my price target? How do I set my calls, do my option contracts? Well, let's just say hypothetically, right? Let's just take this, for instance, from 240. This ran up to 258, basically in 3 days, 2 days. It ran $18, $18 in 3 days. That's $6 a day, man. In an option contract, that's thousands of dollars. Like, that's insane. Same thing here, right? Of this from 258 to from 258 to basically 295. Basically one. Let me see. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Basically 2 weeks it took to go from 258 to 300. Dude, that's insane, man. That's a crazy run. That's a crazy run. So when I'm looking at a chart over here, the little stuff, the fractal moment, I'm also acknowledging, well, how were the last run-ups? How was this run-up? This run-up is destined to happen again, this powerful, right? And I think about this as like, obviously there was some sell-off. I don't know the catalyst for it without doing the research, but again, you just draw your levels on everything. Draw all the levels. This one on here, right? So you've got a floor of support here. Boom. You've got your pivot points, right? What I was telling you here. Strong support. And you can take it all the way over. You just don't have to do it on the fractal moment. You can take it all the way over too. This is all exactly how I'm analyzing this chart, all real time. This is exactly, I don't even know. I know nothing about this stock right now. I'm just looking at the chart. 373, that's where it's gonna easily go. Let me remove that one real quick. Remove that one. It's basically, you can put all of this over there. Like, that's a strong, as I was saying, things to keep in mind, that's a strong resistance, right? Strong resistance. These are the supports. It'll come up this way. Let's ride over to Trading View. I hope I'm still logged into this thing. Sweet. What one was that? That was PANW. So PANW. Palo Alto Networks. So I'm generally using this on my phone most of the time, but okay, so again, like this is part of Kia strategy that I've tried to learn and understand, and there's still stuff that I don't understand about it that I'm still learning actively. This is with the Ichimoku Cloud added to it. And basically it's at 362, right? So if you're toggling between, you know, the reason I like to use stock charts, it gives me a little bit better of an idea here. So it's at 362. Obviously you see a level here at 373, 403. So when I'm coming over here, the way I'm basing, so if I'm doing an options call on this, right? This is obviously the opening level, the close of where it's at, right? So what do? I set my alert right here. And I talked about this already. You set your alerts if you can't watch the screens. You set your alerts if you work a full-time job and you're not able to do anything. Know your levels because it keeps you plugged in on a day-to-day basis, right? And this is sorry, this is the 5-minute chart. I'm going to take this out and I'm going to look at, when I'm looking at trades, well, I guess, no, I'm going to keep it on the 5-minute chart because that's what I look at. I look at like the 5-minute or the 3-minute, but I also like to look at the 4-hour and the 1 hour. So the 1 hour, it just gives you a better idea, right? So if you're making calls, if you're in options and you're making calls on this play, right? The idea is that, okay, this is the high of where it's opened at. This is where it's closed at, like the lowest level of today of this is where it's at, right? So it has to bust these levels. Once it busts these levels, that's when it becomes bullish. And obviously, like if it's right in here, it's obviously, it can go either way. So these are key levels. This is the next key level, and then so on and so forth based on the history. Sorry. Same thing. And then I scroll and I look at different data with that. But that's how I am assessing these plays. So that's the 1 hour chart. If I'm entering this play, looking at the 5-minute, obviously you want to expand this. I keep right clicking this and I don't mean to. I got these sausage fingers. Let me see. I'm just trying to read some of your comments, guys. Yes, main indicators, the 200, the EMA 5 volume. I look at it, but so the letters with the arrows. So that's the time frame continuity that I was talking about. And obviously this came from Kia, so he's talked about it too as well. And it's something that I've grown to understand. And this is also something that the people that use the strat, they use this also to set up their plays and their reversals and that sort of thing. So those numbers and the arrows, the hourly, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly, right? Look, and if all of these things are green, well, it's going one way, man. It's going one way on the it's going one way on the quarterly. The rest, the hourly, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, it's going down, and that's on the 5-second chart. But then you look at the 5-minute, right? You want confirmation. So chances are with this, it looks like it's basically going down, essentially, right? I don't know how to get this one here. Here we go. Zoom out about this one. I switched this one. I didn't mean to. Sorry, here we go. Back in action. So yeah, so like on the 5-minute chart, the hourly is confirmed that it's going to be bearish, the daily bullish, the weekly bullish, the monthly bullish, right? So all of these are positive indicators. And I won't go into the Ichimoku cloud, but these are basically the cloud moments. These right inside here, these are the cloud, this is the lagging lines, this is the lead line. And I'll give another lesson on this later on down the road because it is complicated, but there are a couple of things pinned in the chats, in the rooms based on these. So looking at the 15-minute chart, so assessing a trade, this is how I would do it, is I'm setting my alerts for this, right? And it can go either way. You have to be cognizant of that. And then within this orb, right, you set your levels. Like you have little individual supports in here that it has to break through, but these are basically the ultimate things. Like if you know, oh, are we swinging this stock? What are we gonna do? I have no idea. Well, is it over this? Is it under this? Like what's gonna happen? If you know, like if it breaks this level, it's probably gonna fall here. It's more than likely going to. And if it breaks that one, where else is it gonna go? Sorry. So then looking down, again, you set your lines again. Well, that's a huge gap, right? That's a huge gap. You can set it on this one or you can set it on this one. I'm generally going to set it on this one because it's probably going to get through these because these are confirmed that they're bullish. That's how I read the data. That's how I understand it. So when it gets there, look, oh, Michael, how do we get out? I don't know. Do I sell? What do I do? Man, well, look, dude, if it goes below 355, it's tanking to 340. Maybe. It'll probably hit these first. It'll hit these first. It might rebound. It might recover, right? It'll probably recover because, look, this is the Ichimoku. And right here at these crossing points, these intersections are basically your entry exit points, essentially, right? So these tell me that if it hits here, it's going to end up going bullish. It's complicated to understand, but that's essentially how I analyze that and analyze calls and getting in and out of plays. And I also I try to keep things simplified too, as much as possible. Does all of that make sense? How are y'all feeling? That's a 15-minute chart that I was looking at just now. Y'all, we have definitely gone over time by a lot. By I think we're like a half an hour or 40 minutes over almost. But I want you all to succeed, and I want you all to do well, and I want you all to thrive. And this is my process. This is how I do it. I take a lot of pride in the due diligence side of it. And yeah, do you guys have any questions at all that you want me to answer? I'll take some time and answer some questions for you. Do you invest more in stocks or options? So I do both. I've actually gotten more aggressive now with the options because that's also what I want to master. But I'm still swing trading stocks. I'm in a lot of stock trades, and what I'm working on is I'm actually going to work on putting together a Google spreadsheet to where you guys can see every single one of my stock swings and what I entered them at. And then obviously I'll keep that updated as I exit them, and I'll let you guys know when I do exit them as well. Let me see, somebody asked, where do we start if we are new? Charting is confusing. Look, if you're new, the Wealth Squad University is an incredible resource. There are so many videos. There is so much content in there. There are basics in there of just understanding certain terminology. But look, where do you start if you're new in charting? Understand support, understand resistance, understand the RSI, understand the MACD, and just go look at stock charts. Go look at stock charts and look at them, count the ticks in the candles, right? By number of days, look at the average price movements, because that ultimately helps you understand how fast and how slow things are and potential run-ups by doing that, by analyzing those things. So that's where I would start. The university is a great tool. And look, if you haven't watched Stock Market Gems and you haven't watched Whiteboard Magic, you're just doing yourself a big disservice of fully comprehending things. And then obviously Key has his course. He has the complete stock traders, the options course. Ray and Curly have their options and their the strat courses. So take advantage of the admin courses that are there, because they've been at it a long time. And look, we've been successful. And the reason we were all picked, I think handpicked by Chris, is because we were all very successful in a very short amount of time. And it's very possible for anybody else to do the same exact thing that we've done. It's just a matter of how much work are you willing to put in, right? If you are getting up from a basketball perspective, right? I'm an analogy guy. I shoot hoops. And when I was playing basketball, I was the first one in the gym. I made sure of it. If I saw somebody in the gym earlier than me at 5 a.m., you want to know what time I got there? I got there at 4:30. If I saw that he was still there at 4:30, you want to know what time I got there? I got there at 4. If he was there at 4, I got there at 3:30. I wanted to be the first one in that gym every time, and I wanted to be the last person to leave. After games, I would shoot around. I would spend a little bit more time. And so same thing with your training. If you're training and you're waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning and you're putting in all this work, and then the other person is waking up at 6 or 7 to start their day, well, you're already 3-4 hours ahead of them in your learning curve. And then if you're going back at lunchtime when the other person is going back at 6 p.m., well, now you're 8 hours ahead of that person in your learning curve. And if you're doing that every single day, 5 days a week, over and over and over, the gap of somebody being able to beat you at your game is impossible. They'll never catch you. It's an incredible exponential growth. And that's how I treat this whole entire stock market. And my job as an admin here with you guys and teaching you what I need to teach and educating you. When I talked to Chris before he brought me on as an admin, it was really about of educating and helping to grow this community. And I think a lot of it is like, don't underestimate a work ethic, and don't underestimate getting up 15 minutes early, 15 minutes earlier than what you're already getting up at to go look at a stock chart. It's that 15 minutes of time is crucial, and you can learn a lot in 15 minutes if you're doing it every single day. That's how you accomplish those big plays. That's how you accomplish mastering your craft, is just putting in that work. So yeah, that's where I would start. ETA for the course, man, I'm trying to get through it. Is the marathon you're training for, is it here in Henderson? It's not in Henderson. They moved it. I forget where it's at. It starts with an L. It's right outside of Henderson. They moved it. I think it's like 45 minutes away. Planning to do that in November. Which channel did you mention on Well Squad apart from Whiteboard? The stock gem. So the stock gems, stock market gems, the Whiteboard magic, that is Chris's courses. And obviously he has a bunch of others. Cyber money, all that stuff. He's got those. The links are in my social media profiles, but you can get them all in the provider resources. Chris has them there. They're on his Instagram. They're on his Twitter. All links to it. You can find it all there. And he runs deals on it. I believe he's about to just make it exclusive to the Wealth Squad and close it off to the public. And I think that's going to happen soon. Let's see what else we got here. Wisdom. What is a good strategy for option beginners? Get the fundamentals in charting, but trying to think about a couple of ways to get early wins to build the portfolio. Look, if you haven't consumed Kia's course, if you haven't consumed Kayla's course, if you haven't consumed Ray's course, it's just a disservice to you guys in the community. If you haven't spent the time in the Wealth Squad University, look, all of these lessons are recorded and they're posted there. You literally have months and months and months worth of videos to watch at your disposal that are so informative and helpful and easy to understand, that's going to help catapult your portfolio for sure. And look, their courses are fantastic. I loved Kia's course. I still have yet to get the strat stuff, but I'll get it eventually when I'm ready. I'm just not ready. I don't rush my process. I'm an actor, and I don't rush that process. I spend the time that it takes to go over lines, to dig up clues, to fine tune things and tweak things until I get it right, until it feels organic. A lot of you guys are trading, and a lot of you guys are trying to trade options, and you can't even read a stock chart. So where do I think? Yes, I know we're all anxious to make money, but look, if you're trying to trade options, if you're trying to swing swing stocks, gosh, I can't even talk. If you're trying to do those things and you can't read a stock chart, then you knowing how to read a stock chart is where you need to go. And that's where you need to spend the time, right? A lot, as I found, like in basketball, people will reach out to me and they'll be like, oh, can you coach me? Can you train me? Well, sure, I can. But what do you need? A lot of people don't even know what they need. and you have to know what you need before you ever come to a trainer, because it's just not going to help you very much. Yes, it's a trainer's job to pull all of these things out of you, but it's self-awareness is key in these scenarios, especially for the market and understanding plays and when to get in and when to get out. That self-awareness is important. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. I want to share okay, here we go. Stop sharing the screen. Bam, we're back here. I don't know what to do from this point, actually. Let me see. I'll change this view, speaker view. Who is this person? I don't know how to. I just want to show y'all my video. Why am I on here? Anyhow, that doesn't even matter. I don't care. I don't care about that. Whatever. What other questions here? What's a good strategy for option beginners? Fundamental, of course. I think that's it, y'all. Anybody else ETA for the course? I'm like halfway done. I would like to say the training is a big focus for me right now. So my race is in July, so that's a big part of my time outside of all of this. But my birthday is August 14th, so maybe August 1st. Maybe August 1st is my timeline. I don't know. I'm not rushing it. I have no rushing process. I just want to master it first. I want it to be perfect. And well, it's probably not going to happen, but I just want it to be at a level to where it's worth the price of admission, if you will. And look, it's one of those things that I know this platform is exclusive, but it's going to be much more of a higher ticket course because I've spent a lot of time on it, and I've spent a lot of time perfecting a lot of those screeners and analyzing that data and finding the things that I have that other people haven't been able to find. So, but I will definitely put it at a price point where it's affordable, but I will, it's going to be worth every penny and then some. The amount you'll invest into any content, any one-on-ones, look at, and the one-on-ones that I have are $80 for 60 minutes. And look, to be totally honest, they should be even more, but it is where it is, and I'm okay with that. And that $80, it's going to make you so much more. It's going to make you 8,000. It's going to make you 80,000. I hope 800,000. How do I keep up with multiple plays in a day? So I'm actually glad this week is over, to be honest with you, because I had a lot of option contracts open. I had way too many open, and it was really overwhelming. So, and a lot of you might have noticed, I'm really trying to be more assertive and more aggressive with communicating and talking you guys through process and talking you guys through what I'm doing and what I'm looking at, which is one thing I've really admired about Kia in the group, of how well he communicates, and how Kayla communicates, and Ray and Chris. And I'm just, they're motivating for me to helping people better understand process. Because look, as an actor, I also want to know what another actor's process is. I want to know what they're thinking about. I want to know what side hustles they worked at before they got their agents, before they got their break, of how they juggled 5 jobs and acting full time, in just the same way as I want to know Key's process and Kayla's process and Ray's process and Chris's process for analyzing trades, getting in entry points, exiting, all that stuff. So as I've gone forward, I want to do that same thing for you guys too. And look, whether you enter the plays or not, I don't care. That's up to you. I'm about my money. I'm about my success. but I'm willing to take some of y'all with me. I'm willing to take all of y'all with me. You either, the plays I get, it's not so much that the plays are trash. The key is your entry and exit points. That's why your play is trash when you get in, because you get in at terrible entry points or exit points, and you don't know why. You don't know what level is the threshold for that. So that's why reading the stock chart is so helpful, because then you know how to assess all of that stuff. So, and look, it happens to us all. It happens to me. I'm not flawless in that way, but it's what happens. I want to stop sharing this screen. No. I just want to stop sharing this screen. Oh wait, you guys just see me? I see somebody else's stuff on here. I guess if y'all see me, then cool. Anyhow, that's all I got, guys. That's it. If you guys got any more questions, I'll answer. Good. The one-on-ones, I'm hoping to open up some more dates and times soon. And like I said, with the one-on-ones, my link is in the provider resources. You can book it through there when I open it, and I'll just let you guys know. But the tab is already there for you guys. And everything is outlined. Everything is outlined through that payment, the session. And look, here's one thing I want to say about the one-on-one. It's not about me. It's about you guys. It's about catering it to your needs, what you want help with. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to. And if I don't know something, I'm willing to find the answer for you, point you in the right direction, but it's really catered to you. There's been, I think probably about 40 of you so far that have done sessions with me, 30 maybe, I think. And consensus wise, I think it seems that they've been pretty helpful. A few of you I've met with on more than one occasion already, when I've opened up the dates. So I'm going to try to open up, 5 to 8 hours a week. I opened it up at 12 once and it was just overwhelming. So I'm just trying to find my balance with that. But anytime that you guys have questions, reach out to me in the Discord, DM me. It takes me a little while to get through them, but I try my best to answer all of those questions and try to get to you. So anyhow, that's that, y'all. I hope that this was a beneficial night for you. I hope that you better understand charting. I hope that you better understand due diligence. And look, y'all just got some plays tonight that we just found just now in real time. There's so much more. So I would encourage you to use these screeners. Use these screeners as much as you want during the day. Use them as much as you want. If you use them, they're gonna pay you, man. They're gonna pay you. I can share the slides. I'll put this presentation. I'll figure it out. I'll see how they do it. I'm not sure. I haven't figured out actually how to attach the documents to my post. It's always been like links. So I'm not sure exactly how to post it yet. So I'll figure it out, and then I'll post a presentation for you guys. But anyhow, I know it's late. Some of y'all are on the East Coast. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in Utah right now. I'm 3 hours behind New York, and it's kicking my tail, man. It's up so early, in bed so late. So, but I'm hanging in. I'm hanging in there. I'll be back next week. Man, 4:30 a.m. Shout out to Germany, man. Shout out to Germany. What is the website you use to evaluate companies? Finviz. It's in the presentation. Finviz is the website, and I'll share the slides. And if not, just go back and rewatch it. What else we got? Did I go to Zion? I didn't go to Zion. Didn't. Nope. Anyhow, y'all have a good night, man. Peace. I'll see you in the Discord on Monday. Ready to rock and roll. Guys, have a good night, and I appreciate all of you for tuning in. All right, let's go. Let's get money and buy income, right? Shout out to all of you guys. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.